Welcome everyone, thank you so much for being here. Very often we discuss the shifts in the global power paradigm and the rise of a new multipolar world. Typically, we hear Western commentators discuss it in a very negative light, even though it is a catalyst for countries to strengthen their sovereignty, to enhance their economic development, and to create a fair, more balanced international framework. Let's focus on the core reasons that nobody is discussing, that nobody's talking about, the main drivers that explain why the United States has been losing its power as the unipolar moment is coming to an end.
So it's not normal for the world to simply have a unipolar power. That was an anomaly. It was the product of the end of the Cold War. But eventually you were going to reach back to a point where you had a multipolar world, great powers.
No global system in modern history has been as enduring or as dominant as the American-led order that followed World War II, the unipolar moment, in other words. For nearly 8 decades, it shaped the modern world. It shaped it militarily, economically, and ideologically, but today that order is cracking. The warning signs are flashing red, and the fault lines aren't just external, by the way, they run straight through the United States itself. Those of us here in the US can see how divided the society has become and is becoming in more ways than one. So today in this video, I would like to offer a perspective on the path that we've been on for years. The decline in US power, the weakening of its role as the global hegemon, isn't simply the result of foreign competition. It is a breakdown from within that began years ago. The architecture of Pax Americana is no longer being defended, it is being dismantled. Every international order is built on power. After 1945, the US redrew the global map, building alliances across continents, making the dollar the backbone of international finance, establishing courts and institutions under Western control, and selling democracy as the default model of governance. What sustained the system wasn't just strength, it was a belief that America stood for something more than itself. But after seeing the horrors unfold in the Middle East in the past year and several months as the flow of American-made weapons continues, it is safe to say that the belief is fading, and fast. 3 major fault lines are converging. Each alone is very dangerous, but together they're ending the American era. First, it is the military power projection that is crumbling, partially as the result of America's endless wars. The illusion of invincibility is gone. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, both wars of choice, shattered global confidence. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth recently stated that in every Pentagon war game, the United States is not projected to be a winner if ever it were to counter China militarily.
All of its war games against China, we lose every time inside the Pentagon war games. We know what our real capability. You see, we didn't even get to this part of the war on warriors. I mean, the military-industrial complex, the way we procure weapon systems. We're always, the way our system works, the way our bureaucratic system works, where the speed of weapons procurement works, we're always a decade behind in fighting the last war. Whereas China, we have, what did Rumsfeld say? You go to the war to the army you have. We have the army. China's building an army specifically dedicated to defeating the United States of America. That is their strategic outset. Take hypersonic missiles. So if our whole power projection platform is aircraft carriers and the ability to project power that way strategically around the globe. And yeah, we have a nuclear triad and all of that, but a big part of it. And if, 15 hypersonic missiles can take out our 10 aircraft carriers in the first 20 minutes of a conflict.
Despite the fact that the United States maintains more than 750 military bases abroad, which cost billions of dollars annually to maintain, its presence is seen as a destabilizing factor rather than a guarantee of the global policeman's decisive role in peacemaking initiatives. The second reason why the United States is losing its stance in international affairs is the fact that America's economic foundation has fractured. The dollar has been the lifeblood of American hegemony, but that supremacy is now under threat. with national debt surpassing $37 trillion, trillion with a T, and interest payments surging above $1 trillion per year. The U.S. economy is living on borrowed time and borrowed money. The dollar's dominance allowed America to run deficits, to impose sanctions, and to wield financial power globally for decades. But cracks are forming. BRICS nations are building alternatives. Major economies are trading in their own currencies, as they should, of course, to support their economies. The trust that underpins dollar supremacy is starting to erode, and we see that. It is undeniable. And when faith disappears, when trust disappears, collapse follows. The U.S. isn't just facing an economic challenge, it is facing a structural reckoning. Deficits, inflation, and credit downgrades aren't temporary. They are signals that the empire's engine is stalling. The third reason that I will mention in this video, the third reason why the US is losing its position as the global hegemony is America no longer believes in itself. The glue of American power wasn't just hardware or GDP. It was belief in its institutions, its values, and its mission. And that belief is now fractured. Political polarization has reached historic highs. Social unrest simmers beneath the surface, we can see that. And trust in government, the trust in media, in democracy itself is crumbling. U.S. international allies see this shift quite clearly. The old America is fading. What's rising is a version of the United States that is quite unpredictable, very aggressive, and increasingly alone, isolated. This isn't just a temporary decline. One could argue that it is a systematic breakdown, the breakdown of the fabric. Empires fall in different ways. Athens was humbled by Sicily. The British Empire bled dry by war and debt. The United States now faces its own reckoning from internal decay and self-inflicted wounds. At the same time, the US military is overextended, and this is something that we need to keep an eye on. Supporting Ukraine and supporting Israel while maintaining presence in Asia, all while the defense budget is stretched thin. It has increased this year, and industrial production can't keep pace with global demand. The economic picture is equally grim, too. The US once used trade to shape the world. Now tariffs and sanctions are its tools of choice. And what is the result of that? Well, allies are alienated, global trade is fragmenting, and markets are losing faith in Washington's stability. It is unpredictable, and people just can't handle it. Being unpredictable might work to achieve certain goals, but it is a bad idea when it becomes the modus operandi. It has become clear that the dollar's role as the world's currency isn't guaranteed. It relies on trust, and that trust is fading. As other countries diversify their reserves, de-dollarization is no longer theoretical, it is happening, it is the reality. Slowly but steadily, and when the tipping point comes, the consequences will be felt everywhere. Meanwhile, the rules America created are being ignored, even by America. Nuclear non-proliferation is breaking down as President Trump threatens with nuclear submarines and sends mixed signals to global leaders. All it does is lead to escalations. Sovereignty is being violated, human rights are routinely ignored.
People of Ukraine, this is your moment. America is with you. I am with you.
Your fight is our fight.
Ваша боротьба – це наша боротьба.
2017 will be the year of offense.
Рік 2017 рік буде ріком нападу.
All of us will go back to Washington and we will push the case against Russia.
I believe you will win. I am convinced you will win, and we will do everything we can to provide you with what you need to win.
From buying Greenland to threatening allies with tariffs and imposing tariffs on 90-plus countries in the world, America may no longer be the steady hand at the wheel. It is now the unpredictable player, the wild card, the destabilizer. If we continue on this path, we may not collapse like Rome or Britain. The global power may simply fade. One broken alliance, one failed institution, one lost principle at a time. It has already started to fade, and frankly, we may be past the turning point. America still has a choice, but that window is closing. Because the end of hegemony isn't coming someday, it's already begun. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, subscribe, and follow me on Substack and Patreon. I would love to see you there, and I certainly appreciate every single one of you and your continued support. I will see you back here soon. Take care.